So in this video, we'll learn how to create lists. And remember, there are two sections, the preamble and the environment. So in this video, I won't be writing too much code. Rather, I'm just going to write the code to the description, okay? And I'll tell you where it goes. Either it goes in the preamble, if we are using a package or making some changes to the package, then we'll put it in the preamble, otherwise we'll use the environment. So, three things that you can create. Bulleted lists, numbered lists, and definition lists. So if I'd like to create just a list, right? And I just want to put a few items. So you know how the document begins, so document, class, put article, and then you begin your document. Then let's say our section, let's put a star with the section and see what happens. Useful packages. And then write something, just a list. So you'll start with begin, itemize, and there will be an end. So begin and end itemize. And inside you'll put item and whatever you want to put in there. Like let's say if I were making a list for math subjects, so geometry, algebra 1, and so on. And obviously you'll have that end document to get everything rolling for you. Okay? So if you notice, we did not load any packages in this code. We just started out, right? Okay, now we'll do another itemized list. See how this one works. So let's try this thing. So when we do begin itemize, let's put this change. Let's do item, page, layout. And then begin another itemize. And then let's put backslash item geometry. So over here we've got spaces, okay? After the item, you put a space, type area, and end the itemize. And then let's make another one. Item, headers and footers. And then begin itemize. Just put it in red too. And end itemize. And in this, let's put fancy HDR and maybe another item, scroll page too. So try this, see what happens with it. So there's a begin itemize, end itemize, and then there will also be an end itemize for this. Sorry, backslash, not the forward slash. Now, if you wanted to create a numbered list, instead of itemize, we'll begin with enumerate. And there will obviously be end enumerate. Okay? So, let's do item. State paper size. Item. Determine. Sorry. Margin dimensions. And then if I were to begin and itemize, and close and itemize, and itemize, and put anything, maybe item geometry, and item type area. If we want to add more stuff, let's say if I put another item, customize header and footer, and then begin and itemize and end and itemize. And then let's put something like fancy header. Try this code and see how it works for you, right? So when you use an enumerate environment, you'll see that the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 start adding up, right? Each list item is introduced by the backslash item, and each one has a number with it, right? Now if I were to enumerate continuously, the first level will get numbers 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the next enumerate will be with A, B, C, D, and so on. And then the third level will get the Roman numerals. And then finally you'll get A, B, C, D. So as you do backslash item and you start a new begin enumerate, this is the order that you'll see every time. So for lists, there's a default setting, okay, default appearance. So it includes the spacing, indentation, and the symbols. But sometimes you may have to make changes to the list, right? To the setting, maybe make it smaller, maybe make it bigger. So right now, if I want to shrink it a little, I'll have to load the package. So whenever you're using packages, they go in the preamble. So use package, paralist. So over here, instead of enumerate, we will use the word compactiner. Okay? So begin document is part of it, right? Begin end document, begin doc, end doc, So that's your environment. So within that, last time we wrote enumerate, we'll use compact. This is just saying compact enumerate. And put the same code in. Item, state paper size. Item, margin dimensions. And then begin compact enumerate, right? Or if we want to compact the item itself. So it depends what you're writing. Either you'll use compact enum or compact list. So let's use compact list over here and see what happens. Sorry, compact item over here. And let's put item, geometry, and item, type area, and end the compact item. And also end the enumeration. And see what happens to the setting. Right? What do you get? If you'd like to make more changes, right? So you could do this. Item. See what happens to this. Instead of your compact enumerate, check what happens over here. Okay? In para enumerate. And then put, maybe create item single space. Item 1/2 space. Item double space. And end this. And then see what happens. What happens to the setting. So in this document, in the package paralist, what did you notice? So this provides several new list environments, and they're designed to be typeset within paragraphs or in a very compact situation. So the first one we used was just the regular, and then we used for the number list, we used compact enumerate. So compact version of the enumerate environment without any vertical space before or after the list, if you notice. And then the second one is in para enumerate. So this is an enumerated list typeset within the paragraph. And then the third one is as para enumerate. And you may not be using these frequently, but even if you do, you can choose to use it. Okay. So this one, it's like formatted. Every list item is formatted like a separate common paragraph, but it's not numbered. And then similarly for the bulleted lists, we'll use compact item, in para item, as para item, right? And put them together. So it will do the same thing, but within a bulleted list and a numbered list. Now, choosing bullets and numbering format, obviously, sometimes you might want to enumerate by using Roman numbers or alphabetically. Maybe by using parentheses or dots might be required in some of these cases. Some might prefer dashes instead of bullets. So for that, we'll use the package enum item. So this creates or provides some sophisticated features that you can use to implement such requirements. So let's try one of these codes with the enum item. If I were doing that, I'm going to use the package. Remember, all packages go in the preamble. And then set list. No list setup. No list separation, okay. And let's set the itemize these are 3 dashes, okay. And let's set the enumerate. So see what all of this does to your document. And label. Now labels is what it would look like, okay. Script size. And then you begin your document. And obviously you'll have end document at the bottom. So I'm turning it to black so that you can see the environment and the preamble in 2 different colors. So you've got begin enumerate, begin document and end document. So let's begin an enumeration. Remember, this will also have and end enumerate within the lists that you're creating. And then let's put an item, paper size, item, margin dimensions. And then inside, let's begin and itemize. And that will have an end itemize. And here again you'll have item. And let's put another item. So maybe geometry and type area. So run this code, see how you see the typeset for this document, right? Good luck. So if you want to add more space, right? After the first end enumerate, maybe you could create a subsection. And if you don't want its name, you put the star on top with it. So this will not, if you don't want a number. So this won't print a number with it. If you skip the star, it's going to show a number. All right? Like maybe 0.1 or 0.2. Okay. So begin, enumerate. And let's resume. And see, if you add this to your list, it creates a space, right? So now let's take a closer look to what we just did, or the few things that we took into consideration. So the first part, the set list. And no list. So if you look at this command, so the set list, what it does is it sets properties for all types of lists. Here we specified that we don't want no list SEP, no list separation. So what we are doing is we want to use compact lists that are analogous to the compact paralist environment. That might sound a little arcane, but we'll try to understand what is happening. Now, when I wrote this code, this just said itemize was just modifying the properties of bulleted lists. Here we chose a dash, right, to get a leading wide dash. So here we'll get a bigger dash if you see in the itemized list. And then we did set enumerate. Label, text circled, and then the script size was at alf star, and the font was from the SF family. Now what happens is that the set enumerate sets property is valid for the numbered lists. Now we used it in this case just to set a label and a font for the label. The command alf star stands for enumeration in capital letters. Okay? So the description of what we just did. So now let's talk a little more about the three commands and what arguments and values it can take. So if I were to make a table here, let's say the first one is the parameter, the second one is the meaning, what it means, and then the values, and the example. So let's take the font. So this just modifies the label font, right? Makes changes to it. And you can do any font command. For example, if you wanted font BF series, so you'll get that. Then the next one we used was label. So this is the setting current label, current level for label. So values, it may contain values, and then an example could be label is equal to emphasize alp star. So see, if you use capital A, you'll get capital. If you use small a for alpha, you'll use small. So you could also do other stuff. Let me add a few things. Let's say if we wanted to do maybe Arabic, or maybe Alp star or Alp star, yeah, or maybe Roman, or capital with the capital R. So a few things. Test them, try them. See, the idea is to try things and then see how it changes stuff. And then use those changes. Some things you might like, some things you may not like too much. That's how we learn. All right. Let's say we had this. So this one is like the label, but it's appended to the current label. Appended to current label. And then this is just like the label. And then let's try a few other things. Align. Okay, alignment of label. And then this can be left or right. Let's say align right. Okay. Then start. So number of first item. Let's use the same color code. Sorry. I wanted to use the black color. Number of first item. Integer. Yeah. Let's say start at 10. And then we used one word, resume, with the star. But let's see what resume and resume star, the difference between the two. So this lets the counter continue from the previous list's value. Okay? And your example would just be resume. Counter continues. And then we had no item space. Item SCP, sorry. So this would have no extra space. Between items and paragraphs. And then similarly we had no list. No extra vertical space between the items. So they're very close to each other. So the example was no less separation. Here, this could be no item separation. So this would be a good sheet of paper to use or to play around with, to change the settings, right? And we tried a few over here, right? Like for example, if I wanted Roman numbers, I could begin my enumerate. If you want to use a few, so these are just a few options. The star option is just to avoid the confusion with the LaTeX command with a similar name. So now if we want to describe something, like if you were doing an assignment and there were some definitions that you wanted to use, you can use the description in the begin and end document. So we have begin document in end document. So if you started with begin description and end description. So let's start with an item, right? So item, paralist, and then this provides compact lists. List versions, right? Then if I did this, gives control over labels and lengths. Of lists. Then if we add item, MDW list, customize description lists. Try this code, see how it works.